everyone, welcome to my video and my channel today. My name is Ada, your online therapist. Yes, I love to call myself a therapist because what we discuss are topics that you will need to process your emotions or personal difficulties if you ever enter a therapist's office. Now, while this is not all that will be discussed, I simply like to discuss topics that will leave you emotionally distressed. After all, in therapy, what therapy attempts to do is to relieve or alleviate your mental health problems as well as your emotional distresses. So let's get into it. What is therapy? Therapy is a form of treatment where a licensed practitioner, such as a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a social worker, or a licensed counselor, usually at schools, help you unearth, examine, and gain insight into what is going on in your mind. At the start of my channel, I talked about REBT, which is the science of the mind. The science of the mind has expressed to us that everything originates from your thoughts. If you hold negative thoughts, you will have negative emotions, which automatically would produce negative actions. Same goes for positive thoughts. You get positive emotions, and in of it bears positive actions. So I wanted to talk about what is therapy and why should we do therapy. Well, like I said, therapy is a form of treatment. Just like any medical health related issues, there are mental issues that could creep up on you if care is not taken. Mental health issues aren't usually noticeable because they're not as pressing, they're not so open and noticeable as physical health issues such as issues with your skin, your eyes, your breathing, your walking, noticeable things that you would, in a panic, rush off to call the doctor or the emergency services. For the mental health issues, it'll take someone who is alert and conscious to understand that they're not acting right. And perhaps it's because they're not thinking right. They need someone to help them process their thoughts or why they're having thoughts. Oftentimes people don't pause and think and ask themselves, why do I feel so negative about this person? Why does it matter what they do? Why do I express myself in such so and so way? Why don't I have a more relaxed, less tempered way of responding to issues? Why am I so easily triggered by something or someone? See, the idea of therapy is to help you understand yourself better. As doctors say, we provide care, we do not heal. Same thing with therapy. Therapy provides guidance and light to your path, but you have to do most of the work, just as your body does most of the healing by itself through the support and help of medications and healthcare workers. When it comes to mental health, a determination on your part to collaborate and work with your therapist goes a long way, if not more than 50 to 70% into your healing or better life. So why therapy? If I'm feeling fine, if I have a good life, why therapy? Well, oftentimes you might not need therapy, but at some point in your life, especially when you start questioning identity, when you feel like you're taking things don't make sense, life doesn't matter, or maybe you start to question something you used to believe in the past, or even question your entire past. Something might happen, an event might occur, someone might happen. Yes, people do happen, not just situations. If something or someone happens in your life and you suddenly find yourself, your entire decorum, your entire mindset upended by this, oftentimes we repress it. We talk ourselves out of processing the emotion. We shove it all the way back there so that it does not take over our lives and make us unable to function, which is usually what emotions do. Unbalanced, untreated, unresolved emotions usually have a way of affecting our work, our life, our relationships, our communications, everything about us. There's a joke that you can tell a man is having a bad day if His wife is upset because he just goes about with a grumpy face. Same thing with the woman. Relationships have a huge effect on us because they are heavily driven by emotions. Emotions of anger, happiness, sadness, disappointment, frustrations, hopes, desires, and the list goes on. We have two sides of our brain: the logical part, which deals with logical and rational issues that have nothing to do with emotions, and the emotional part, which handles the feelings of positive feelings of happiness, joy, laughter, and love, as well as the negative emotions and feelings of anger, frustration, disappointment, and so on. Why do you need a therapist? When you come to the crossroads where you are unable to process your emotions, now the situation might get dire. Sometimes we repress our emotions far too long until we can no longer move forward or backwards. This is where people fall into what we call depression. Now, this is not a clinical definition for depression, but you get the point. You want to treat your emotional issues, if any, or even just preventative maintenance, as I'd like to call it. Yes, we humans need to be maintained. To have a balanced mental balance, a healthy mental balance comes from processing your emotions on a day to day basis. Remember, little episodes will continue to happen in your day, in your day to day activities, whether at home, at work, outside in public, the marketplace, you name it. There are so many triggers waiting to happen to you. A healthy mental space helps you define situations on a context basis. If someone throws a racial slur at you, there are two reactions. You get upset and you react with a punch, or you throw back some other racial slur, or you just walk away. A mental state of mind will determine which action you take. Someone runs in front of you, drives in front of you, you could either have road rage or you could just have that sort of reaction. Your response to triggers or situations or inconveniences determines how healthy or the level of health of your mental space. Now, if you find yourself overreacting, you find yourself over responding, overcompensating, accommodating, pleasing, trying to avoid confrontation at all costs, that's not a sign of a healthy person. A healthy person must be comfortable with confrontation just as they're comfortable with peace. You must be comfortable with sadness and grief just as you are with joy and happiness. There is no one size fits all when it comes to therapy, which is why it's important to know what you want to achieve and work with your therapist. Oftentimes people refer a therapist and say, this person helped me do this, that person helped me do this. And certain therapists might work for certain people and certain therapists might not work for certain people. It depends on where you are in life and what your values are and what's important to you. And also another important thing about choosing therapy or a therapist is the style. The two major styles or types of therapy approach, we have the cognitive behavior therapy and the psychodynamic therapy. Cognitive deals with figuring out your negative emotions, putting it in balance and checks and control. You want to figure out why you feel anxious, why you panic, why you're upset easily, and all that stuff. The cognitive approach tries to dispute irrational thoughts. Remember, irrational thoughts are negative thoughts that you hold against yourself. They never work in your favor. You kind of see the word always against you. People are fighting against you for no reason. Someone just wants to hurt you for no reason. These are negative thoughts that lead nowhere. Oftentimes, it's best to know what to do in a situation and not just hold on to the situation. You know, people talk about something that's happened to them. What do they want by that? What do they want? It's not enough for something to happen to you. What would you have preferred? And how can you ensure what you want happens in the future? A lot of people are comfortable complaining about situations rather than working to avoid it or minimize the impact on their lives. People who walk into therapy, if they're not ready to deal with their issues, they will walk out that door unchanged. But you have to be ready, you have to be willing, you have to be okay with being uncomfortable when it comes to the patterns and the path you have to take going forward. It's not enough to talk about a problem. Question is, what are you going to do about it? The second type is the psychodynamic, which takes its roots from psychoanalysis in some instances. Now, this also tries to review the mental space, but in this case, it's about understanding yourself a bit more. Now, in the first case of CBT, which is the cognitive behavior therapy, it's about trying to dispute and handle and contain irrational thoughts. It has specific clinical treatments that have been proven to work, and you simply apply these and hope for the best, or expect the best, pardon me. For psychodynamic therapy, it's you involved. You are heavily involved and heavily invested. It's about understanding yourself, discovering yourself. Oftentimes you have to relate with past experiences, what's happening right now, if it's happened before, and what are the common symptoms, how can you prevent it, why is it happening, why do you feel this way about it? And basically understanding the conflicts going on within yourself, because conflicts, internal conflicts, are usually resulted in emotional distress. There's no bigger distress than internal conflicts, whether your values, your religion, your philosophy in life, that of someone else, choosing pro-abortion or no, or choosing monogamy over polygamy, whatever internal conflicts you might have. A little white lie, a lie is a lie for some people, white lie is okay for some people. Having a mistress, having multiple girlfriends and boyfriends and all that stuff. Oftentimes when you go against your values or morals, you will experience emotional conflict and distress. Now, sometimes it's easy to resolve a situation that will lead you to therapy. Other times it might not. An example of such times is when you are suffering from childhood traumas, or in the case of when you are suffering insecurities from someone because of your experience, say in love, relationship, at work, and so on. It starts with unpeeling, to peel back the layers that you've used to cover this uncomfortable pain. With psychodynamic therapy, we have to peel back all the layers of false lies and protective lies, because covering a wound is not the same as letting that wound heal properly, which is what we do. We shove our emotional issues to the back and hope it never comes up. But here's the thing, if you don't deal with emotional stress as they come, which you will experience, you would have set yourself up for an untimely eruption. Usually embarrassing, usually you would have to say, I don't know what came over me. Your emotions had the better of you because they've just been bubbling. And all it takes is a little situation to ignite you and you go kaboom on everyone and everything. So guys, this is why I talk on my channel. This is why I talk on my channel about issues that might lead you into a therapist's chair. Issues of jealousy, issues of heartbreak, relationships, becoming an adult, the stresses involved, things that we often are told to keep to ourselves, handle by ourselves. Well, it's important to find support systems when we struggle. And a therapist is a great support system. So guys, I hope you understand now and appreciate, I hope, why I do what I do. I'm trying to reach out and help everyone who is not able to get into a therapist chair as quickly as they need it, but I hope that by understanding what's happening, you can take better decisions in life and have a better and happier life. Until my next video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and share the video with someone you think need it the most. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye.